Despite being mostly sideways in the past 24 hours, many important things across several different markets actually are happening in the background that does likely suggest that the next couple of weeks for Bitcoin is going to be in one direction. But I still do want to sort of tone down things on this channel because, again, in early 2024, I do believe that a major correction is more or less imminent. It's not necessarily my belief. My belief is based off the statistics and historical data, which we'll go over. We'll go over that in another video. I mean, that's not relevant for this exact moment, but in today's video, we're going to be going over sort of the more near term, specifically these next couple of weeks into the end of December, maybe even early January, as we're only 5 days away from Santa Claus. Santa Claus is coming. Anyways, with that said, I do want to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. It's a nice little Tuesday. Nope, it's Wednesday, and we can just go right into the chart view right here. First things first, before I forget, I have a message from Jason Bazzino. Great guy, but also of importance, we do see that Meta Signals is going to be pausing their mint. This is a project, by the way, that I'm personally invested in. Just want to be 100% transparent with that. And so they're going to be pausing their mint for the time being. I think at the end of this week, it's probably here in the thread somewhere, and they're going to open it up when they release their next set of setups, basically. So as of right now, they have their major, main long setups, which are more like long-term swing trades, let's say. Then they have their beta long setups, which are more like, they're long, but not long term. They're more like short term scalps, if you will. And they're going to be working on their beta shorts next, and that's tentatively, very likely, I should say, although I'm not the person behind it right now, but it does look like probably January, maybe February is when they're going to release. So Q1 of 2024 is when that's slated, and then they'll open up the minting again, if that's how you say it. Anyways, I'll leave a link to their Discord in the comment section below. You can read about this on Twitter. The thread here has all the information. I reposted it on my own Twitter as well. But their Discord is going to continue to be free, or there's going to be a free section on their Discord that I should let you know about, and they'll continue to post not all, but certainly a few here and there of their setups, which you can check out and use for whatever you want, really. Anyways, now that we've gone through that, let's get into the analysis of the day. First things first, Coinbase making new highs for the year at 161. We did see that our major long-term target of 145 was hit at the not the 1618, but the 618 Fibonacci retracement right here. Which was a target that we had going all the way back to August/September of this year. So with that said, this one still kind of poised for more coming into 2024. I do think that this one can still extend somewhere closer to maybe 180 or 190. Ultimately, this one very similar to Bitcoin in the sense that, likely one more push higher before a major consolidation, much lower, I suspect. Now, here's the thing. As this one does, get towards the end of the year, we just want to see it close above about 145. If that happens, yeah, I'd be looking for early 2024 to trade higher, closer basically to 200, somewhere around like 180 to 190. Very close to it already, to be fair. But why are we even talking about this one? Well, Coinbase, as well as GBTC, by the way, have been a bit of a leading indicator for Bitcoin spot price action. So in this case, we go down here to the daily, we even see kind of a similar setup. In fact, we do see, these rising lows right here. You might even call that an ascending triangle. At the end of the day, it's just trend basically. But we see the same indicator signals over here. Hidden bullish divergence on this last local low. Volatility starting to rise yet again. And we do see that the daily jewel is also getting another upside curvature and actually even closed on a fresh signal yesterday too, which is rather interesting. So it looks like it looks like it wants to continue to trend here. Now, pair that off with GBTC, another chart that we've been using kind of as a leading indicator, especially over the last 5 months now. This was also very much true in 2018 and 2019, less true in 2020 and 2021 and 2022 as well, and for the most of this year too. But GBTC has been a leading indicator for Bitcoin with very strong correlations as well. This would be the weekly correlation coefficient right here in blue, the regression in the red, adaptive regression to be fair. But again, very strong correlations on the weekly, and GBTC has been that first mover. So when we go back to the GBTC over here, it's very interesting to see the same exact signal that we see on Bitcoin spot. Hidden bullish evidence on this last local low, even a bit of an ascending triangle right here as well. Again, just comes down to trend, just higher lows basically with the same highs and higher probability to break out to the upside rather than the downside. Again, it's almost as if the Coinbase chart is like an evolved chart of GBTC, right? Kind of the way that I look at things, because, you know, that one's playing first, then GBTC, and then perhaps Bitcoin spot as well. So in this case, we'd like to see GBTC follow through. If the upside is going to continue to be relevant, basically throughout the rest of December. And we see that the daily jewel actually on GBTC is perhaps looking for a fresh signal as well. Could get it as soon as today, but need to see that turn that light blue cyan color, similar to what we saw over here on Coinbase. Or, whoops, wrong one. This one right here. Basically same posturing as you can see. Anyways, moving on now, we can see, actually, before we move on, let's stay on this chart, but go to Bitcoin. We can see something very similar on Bitcoin spot compared to GBTC, which also compares to Coinbase as well, right? Now, I would say that Bitcoin spot is the laggard of all three, but we see the same sort of hidden bullish evidence here on daily RSI. We see the daily jewel is going to be looking for that upside curvature, potentially coming into tomorrow. It won't happen today, but perhaps tomorrow. And ultimately has these higher lows right here. And, you know, could you shape this up to be some sort of a triangle of destiny, something like this? Perhaps yes. I mean, again, just higher lows. That's all that it is. It's all that any formation is. If you understand trend, you understand all formations. You don't need to know about the fucking backwards seahorse fuckface horseshoe strategy or pattern. It all comes down to fucking trend. That's all they all are. Anyways. In this case, yeah, you know, for Bitcoin, it's still very much the same as yesterday, actually. As long as Bitcoin is above Monday's low is 40,511 on the index. Upside more likely, upside more likely. Upside more likely, basically. If Bitcoin does trade below Monday's low, okay, it's time to really be considering a greater correction here. Greater correction could bring Bitcoin down to, let's say, 36 or 37,000 bucks. I still think that based off of the probabilities, is less likely. Also, because of what we did see in the past 48 hours. So coming in from yesterday's video and also today's as well, which actually didn't even post yesterday's video, just did a live stream, but that was fucking fun, man. Super fun. It's so much fun, but it takes so much out of me. I have to tell you, like, when I go to my boxing sessions for 2 hours, I'm tired afterwards for sure, but you know, I can still do things, right? After a 2 hour like a 2 hour long live stream, my throat hurts. I feel like lethargic, and I feel like I just need to lay down on the sofa or something. I don't know what it is. Why would that be more difficult? Who the fuck knows? It's quite fun though. Anyways, so a big focus on yesterday's video was that Bitcoin had reclaimed the median on the daily right here. For the HPDR bands, and in this case, we can see that the median has now shifted quite fairly up. Now towards 43,350. So what does that imply for today? It implies for today that if we do want to see bullish momentum start to take over, we want to see Bitcoin close above that number, 43,350. And at that point, yeah, Bitcoin very likely does get an official run towards the low 44 region. Well, realistically, I don't think it'll stop there. Maybe a short-term stop, yes, but realistically, Bitcoin likely mounts an assault somewhere between 46.2 to maybe 47,002, something like that. In the meantime, can Bitcoin have another move to the downside somewhere above 41,000 bucks? Yeah, it's the same thing as yesterday. Can very easily test to the downside. Yesterday we said 42,000 bucks must close above in order for Bitcoin to remain bullish. It did. Bullish is not the right term, but for the BULAs to have the probabilities in their favor in the short term, yes, that's the right way to say that. But ultimately, you know, this will now start to favor the bulls as long as Bitcoin's above Monday's low. Bitcoin takes out Monday's low. Take all that away. Take all that away and look for Bitcoin to at least make a move down to 38, probably a little bit lower than that as well. But again, I'm still of the same opinion here that Bitcoin is more likely, based off of December statistics, based off of the quarterly statistics, based off of all of the HPDR statistics, based off of several setups that we've seen as well, that's still likely one more drive to the upside. maybe, you know, in the upper 40s is probably more likely before a greater correction. Again, I do think that there is going to be, or at least statistically speaking, it has been relevant to look for a very major correction, you know, a little bit before the halving, which is coming up around the end of Q1 of 2024. So, you know, we're starting to get pretty damn close to that. And, you know, I realistically need to entertain the possibility of like a 30 to 40% correction, you know, before that time, or around that time at least. So if Bitcoin gives any signals of reversal, which especially would be had if Bitcoin trades below Monday's low, okay, now we start to discuss that. But until then, upside still more likely. Looking at our other oscillators right here, not necessarily oscillators, but volatility, we can see HPDRV it's actually still contracting a little bit here, but as you can see, picking up a little bit there as well. So it does look to me like this, what essentially is that saying? What essentially is that suggesting? That this consolidation is maturing. HPDRO, directional volatility, is more or less neutral here. It's not really having any strong direction, obviously. Yeah, it's technically a little bit negative, but really anything between like -20 and +20 is directionless as far as I'm concerned. But while this is resetting, price action is putting in higher lows. So there's actually a bit of a divergence here, isn't there? Because higher lows alongside slightly, about the same lows on the HPDRO. Okay, that is a divergence by the definition of things. And by the way, before I get another fucking email about this shit, this has been driving me crazy recently. And it's not your fault if you've been emailing about this. It's probably mine. Although you can also just watch the settings video. It's really easy to do. But for the HPDR bands, I like to keep a sample length of 7 typically. Sometimes I go to 13, but usually 7, especially for pretty much all time frames at this point. And for the HPDR and HPDRV, I do the same shit as well. So you can see it right here, sample length 7. And do I have it on HPDRV as well? Nope, I keep that one at 13. Sometimes I put that one to 7 on some of my personal strategies, but fair enough. For right now, I've got it on 13 here. Anyways, that is going to do it for today. Holy moly. Again, just very easy way to wrap up this video. As long as Bitcoin's above Monday's low, probabilities remain in favor to the upside. Daily time frame, 46.3. Things get really crazy, maybe even 48. Sometime around end of year. If Bitcoin takes out Monday's low, expect 38 at least, and probably a little bit lower than that after a bounce attempt. But I do think that that's less likely. Again, mostly based off of, in part, with GBTC and certainly Coinbase that we saw over here as well. So yeah, I should also disclose I do hold Coinbase. I actually do hold Coinbase. I think it's kind of a no-brainer stock. But that's more of a long-term thing. And what do you know? NASDAQ making new all-time highs for the year as well. Holy shit. Craziness. Again, NASDAQ, traditional markets, you're going to see I shouldn't say you're going to. You're very, very likely to see a major pullback in early 2024. Does that play out alongside of a Bitcoin pullback as well? Probably. That's crazy. That's a crazy thought. That's a real fucking crazy thought. Oh shit, man. I should just turn this off. I'm putting too much crazy thoughts together. I need to go see the doctor, and with that said, I'd like to wish you the best. Take care. Much love. See you hopefully tomorrow, Thursday.